Okay. Nick, this is your squad. They're currently the 5th seed. Are you at all worried?
I think they're the best team in the NFL. But that is a horrendous, lingering, painful loss that I am of the belief that if you are a team that has a real shot and real expectation to win the Super Bowl, maybe this is bad for the show at times because I am so focused on the playoffs, that the entire purpose of the regular season is simple, binary, set yourself up for the postseason as well as possible. That is for teams that are building or young or, new coach, whatever. But for a team like the Rams or the Eagles or the Chiefs this year, it didn't work out for the Bills. It is as simple as healthy as possible, best path, best seed for the postseason. And the Rams had it all done. They are up 16 points with the added benefit of they are going to absolutely own the Seahawks and their quarterback mentally, who I think is the second best team in the conference. If they were to play again, everything was rolling, and then a cascade of errors, some unlucky, i.e. the 2-point conversion, some unforced, i.e. what I thought was Sean McVay not understanding in overtime that a tie for them was almost the exact same as a win, which should have adjusted his overtime strategy.
A tie for them was
a tie for them because then they have the head-to-head with Seattle. So it's this because it's 1-0-1.
Right.
For Seattle, a tie was no good. For the Rams,
but you wanted them to go for 2?
The Rams on their touchdown, 100%. Because at that point, the question you're asking yourself, if Seattle doesn't score a touchdown, it's moot anyway. So you need to be asking yourself, do we have a better chance of getting a 2-point conversion or stopping a 2-point conversion? And when you have moved the ball at will all game, I would have gone for it. But it wasn't just that. Sean McVay, after being so aggressive in the first half, got conservative in the fourth quarter. They had so many opportunities to essentially lock up the 1 seed and not give Darnold the chance for this redemption where we are all talking, they're dead, you can't trust him, and they blew it. And so I still like their chances because I think they are the best team, but they are now likely going to be on the road the whole time. They are likely not going to get a round 1 bye, and that takes them from, to me, where they were, going to be overwhelming favorites for the NFC to the best team, but I don't even know if they're favorites. And so I think it is a devastating loss.
They're still alive. I don't know who the freaking best team in the NFL is. I don't know that there is one. There are usually years where it's like 2 teams, maybe, certainly when the Chiefs have won it, where, okay, they look like the best team. It's wide open, man. It is wide open, and they're one of the teams that has a shot. But I don't see how you can say they're, like, definitively the best team in the NFC. Seattle, if I'm Seattle, I'm thinking, we got them. We turned the ball over 4 times the last time we played them. Our quarterback was horrible, and they beat us by 2 in their building.
But why would you
We just turned the ball over 3 times last night. They turned it over, didn't turn it over at all. And we came back and beat them. Like, the turnover ratio in this series between these 2 teams this year is 7-1. And yet it was a split. And the game they won by 2 points. So I don't see how the Rams are sitting there thinking, we got Seattle. Like, Seattle should feel like we can beat the Rams if we just play clean football. Because we have them in every other area.
But don't you think that the Rams look at it like those aren't unforced turnovers? It's our defense forcing Sam Darnold into mistakes.
Yeah. I think some of it's Sam Darnold making mistakes too. Like I think it's always kind of the team that turns it over and the good defense.
All right. I believe the Los Angeles Rams should rightfully claim substantial credit for their performance against Seattle, particularly on the defensive side. I do not attribute the outcome simplistically to the opposing quarterback's deficiencies. As I've reiterated, it was a defensive exhibition of the highest order, a definitive defensive masterclass. As I mentioned in prior commentary, the broadcast team meticulously outlined the strategic execution on both sides of the ball. Attributing blame to Sean McVay in this context is comically, hilariously absurd, the very definition of irrationality. McVay's coaching in this contest was phenomenal. It was a continuous sequence of brilliant strategic decisions. He was scheming receivers into expansive separation with a proficiency I have rarely witnessed outside of the partnership between Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. It was sheer schematic genius. When McVay assumed responsibility for first-half issues, the broadcast team was incredulous, essentially questioning what he could possibly be referencing given his exceptional performance. He was undeniably, positively exceptional. The game plan constituted a masterclass in utilizing the ground attack to establish the aerial offense. He demonstrated commitment to this approach, persistently executing it with brilliant effect. This was not a case of conservatism setting in. The shift occurred as Matthew Stafford began to misfire on a few throws, and Seattle's defense finally generated consistent pressure, effectively covering receivers. The dynamic changed because Stafford was forced to attempt increasingly difficult throws from a compromised pocket under duress, while the previously effective running game was stifled. A stark contrast to the first half, where consistent gains created perpetually favorable down and distance situations. Therefore, if you are a supporter of this franchise, you should maintain a strong sense of optimism. I expressed this during the live broadcast, in subsequent analysis focused on Seattle, in a separate Rams breakdown, and I reiterate it now. Sean McVay is, without question, the most formidable weapon entering the postseason. He is the individual who should inspire the most trepidation, because high-level coaching provides a more consistent advantage than the volatile, albeit spectacular performance of any single player. While one could argue a player like Josh Allen is the most intimidating individual talent capable of anything at any moment, the burden of carrying a team under those circumstances is immense. Perhaps with superior support, it would be different. Examining Sean McVay in isolation, I conclude he is the most daunting figure. The appropriate sentiment is, I am apprehensive about facing Sean McVay. They systematically dismantled the Seattle defense. That was unequivocally the work of Sean McVay. Thus, blaming McVay is insanity. Furthermore, the suggestion that they should have attempted a 2-point conversion is nonsensical. I comprehend the hypothetical gamble. Attempt a 2-point conversion. If successful, you lead by a touchdown. If unsuccessful, you still rely on your defense to prevent a touchdown, as a field goal then wins the game for the opponent, whereas a tie does not. However, opting for the 2-point attempt makes no logical sense. You are then trusting your offense to convert and your defense to ensure the opponent does not score a touchdown. But if they do, you further trust they will not also convert a subsequent 2-point conversion. It's a convoluted series of dependencies. This is not a failure of understanding on McVay's part. He did not misunderstand the tie scenario. I grasped its implications within the first 2 minutes of viewing. You secure the touchdown, you kick the extra point to take a 7-point lead, and you are content. The only path to an outright loss, as opposed to a tie, then requires the opponent to score a touchdown and successfully convert a 2-point attempt. That necessitates 2 distinct successful actions by the opponent. Conversely, if you attempt a 2-point conversion and fail, the opponent now only requires a touchdown and a routine extra point, a single successful action followed by a near-automatic play. The math does not support the aggressive 2-point attempt. None whatsoever. If there had been a scenario where McVay opted for a field goal on 4th and short deep in opponent territory, one could debate the conservative logic of playing for a tie. That was not the situation. The assertion that he absolutely should have gone for 2 is something I vehemently disagree with. You are effectively positing that this team would successfully convert 3 consecutive 2-point attempts in high-leverage situations. If such conversions were that facile, they would be standard procedure. They are not. Now, there is apprehension regarding this team's capability on the road. These are the moments I find illuminating, where some supporters suggest a lack of belief in the Rams. The confusion is profound. I consider the Rams an elite unit. I believe Stafford is elite. McVay is elite. I regard them as an exceptionally dangerous squad, and the team I trust most in the NFC. Disagreeing with a specific commentator's take does not equate to a lack of faith. The narrative now suggests this loss is devastating, crippling their championship chances because they must travel. The reaction seems to be, now I'm concerned because they're on the road. Yes, Playing on the road is more challenging. I acknowledge that, in a controlled environment, you likely extract the maximum potential from the Stafford-McVay partnership, enabling them to execute their brand of football with 100% efficacy. Inclement conditions, extreme cold, rain, wind, snow, can alter that equation, potentially sub-optimizing their performance. A road game in Chicago, Philadelphia, or Green Bay may not elicit their absolute peak form. However, this does not equate to fragility. The Rams are not a fragile team. Matthew Stafford is not fragile. Their star receiver is not fragile. Their defensive coordinator is not fragile. Securing a first-round bye and home field advantage throughout the playoffs is a spectacular benefit for any team. That is universally true. On a spectrum, I concede that Stafford's age might render him marginally more susceptible to disruption from severe weather conditions than a younger quarterback in his physical prime, though he and others have challenged that narrative. Therefore, the primary threat to the Rams' postseason success is potentially adverse weather, combined with road environments that could inhibit their offensive precision. This is distinct from a belief that they are inherently flawed or poised for a collapse. If your confidence evaporates because of a road game, you never genuinely believed in the Rams' caliber as a team. That perspective lacks coherence. This, my friends, is the application of consistent logic. But those are simply my reflections. I would be delighted to hear yours. What are everyone's thoughts on the Los Angeles Rams? Are you concerned about them following this undoubtedly difficult defeat? Do you remain optimistic? I'm particularly curious about the sentiment within the fan base. Has this result shaken your confidence in the team's ultimate potential? Share your perspectives in the comment section below. I read every single comment. Whether you agree with me or oppose me, let's engage in some dialogue. Let's have some spirited debates, but ultimately, let's simply enjoy the conversation. Please consider subscribing. We are cultivating an incredible community here and would absolutely adore your participation. I aim to build something we all feel a genuine connection to, something we're truly enthusiastic about joining. I believe we are making significant progress toward that goal. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it genuinely assists with visibility and the platform's algorithm. Thank you so very much.